Everything is spiritual because everything is consciousness. Everything is a spirit running through it. That's the whole paradigm. Spirituality means I have to go up into the Himalayas mountains and meditate till I die and serve in poverty. Firstly, you can't serve many people if you're not making money. And abundance is our birthright. If we look at Earth, it's nothing but abundance. It's nothing but grows. And abundance comes in so many forms. Your present moment decisions are altercating you constantly to new timelines. For people who aren't aware of their consciousness of the energy, there usually is only a few timelines. But what I've noticed for very cosmic or awakened people, there are millions.
The spiritual matrix.
I was like, love and light, positivity. My life got so small. I've done this so many times. I sit down and I say, I hand everything over to you. I let you fuck up my life. The whole time I was looking up at the sky and the shaman was like, are you okay? I was like, we have no control. It's like an intelligence greater than ourselves that we can't conceptually understand, trusting that guidance.
What's the first step for people? For manifesting change, manifesting that new reality?
I love this. The literal word that comes to my head is...
Welcome to Conscious Connection Podcast. Today I'm joined with a lovely friend, Ella. The intention of Conscious Connection Podcast is to hold the space where each guest can share their toolbox that allows them to get beyond their body and mind and create a life of deep intention that was created from the divine. So thank you, Ella, so much for being here.
Thank you.
You're a very inspirational girl. I found you first on YouTube, and literally a week later, now we're sitting here.
Yeah.
So fast, and yeah, our paths were very similar at the beginning, pursuing success and money and not neglecting that part now, but our paths have really changed, and yeah, I personally feel very fulfilled with the life I live now, and yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
I want to share how we met firstly.
Let's start. Yeah.
So I was on Instagram, like scrolling through my feed, and I saw your video dancing to ayahuasca.
Yeah.
And I was amazed at how young you were doing it. And I just thought that was such a gift, like such a gift. And so I went to the comments and they were just horrific. They were so mean. They were so cruel. I got so triggered, Alex. I was like my mother mode comes out. I get so territorial. And I went on YouTube Live and made a video about like the children and what's happening in the world.
The New Earth children.
The New Earth children, yeah, because I feel very passionate about children and teenagers and the way they're being influenced and brainwashed right now and really influenced in not the most positive ways. And so I made a live stream about that, and I just mentioned you and said like about the comments and how miserable people are for commenting things when someone's in peace, solitude, expansion, expression, and they're just bashing it, which is understandable in whatever they're going through, you know, whatever, like sympathy, but it triggered me. So I made a video about this, expressing it because I'm very passionate, and I texted you. I texted him and I was like, I spoke about you in my live stream.
Yeah.
I think you're amazing. I think you're a gift from God. I think you're a light worker, a light being. And then we started texting a little bit. I didn't know you were in Bali. I thought you were, I don't know where, just not like out of all the places, like not in Ubud. So then I was with a friend and we wanted to go to this cafe, and we were just like, let's go back later. Let's go to the shops first. So we went to the shops and then we came back after. And then we were walking into this cafe shop, Seed of Life, and you're getting up to leave.
Yeah.
And then we just meet.
Yeah, and it just happens.
Yeah, literally, I just ran it. I was like, you can't make any of this up. It was like a divine meeting. So it's very synchronistic, especially as my last week here. So yeah.
I remember even on my part, the whole experience was, I literally just felt the calling to go to Ubud because I live on the other side of Bali. Let's just go there.
Yeah.
And I trust so much my inner guidance and my guides, even from ayahuasca. I was told like, hey, we're here for you. We will show you the way through. Sometimes it will be unclear, but you just follow us and you let go of the resistance. So I just came to Ubud, and I knew that you're there because you asked, are you in Ubud? And you didn't message me the whole day. And I was like, well, I guess I'm not going to meet Ella, but I'm going to meet Rob at the end and just meet all the people. So I was meeting ayahuasca people everywhere I would go. Everywhere I would find deep interactions. I would help people also discover ayahuasca. They're like, where do I do it? I'm like, here's the place I do it at. And at the end, I didn't need to message you. I didn't need to reach out any virtual way. It was the universe was like, hey, Alex, you want to meet her? She definitely wants to meet you too. Here.
Yeah.
Here's the place.
Yeah.
You know, come.
It was wild.
And then I actually bought celery juice for Rob and the green juice. And then I see the bag. Daniel had the exact same bag.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh, I forgot my bag. Let me get it. And I'm like, oh, the celery juice is there.
Yeah.
Serendipity celebrated.
That was a wild synchronicity as well. So I was with my friend Danny, and he went shopping in this like random store a little while away,
Yeah.
and then you bought something from the exact same store as the same bag.
Yeah.
So it was wild.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's an honor.
Yeah, magical world, honestly.
Really.
There's so much that exists beyond what we can see in the physical.
Yeah, it's all energy. It's all timelines. Yeah, I have a lot to speak about with timelines. We
Oh
can
yeah,
get into.
for sure. Do you want to start with ayahuasca? I think it's the big thing that
Yeah.
I'm known as the ayahuasca boy.
Yeah, you literally are. You are. Every song. I love it. It was a very sacred experience for me doing ayahuasca. I didn't want to share it with anybody, even though in the midst of my ayahuasca journey, she was like, you're going to have to share all of this. You're going to have to share these videos. So during my experience, she showed me what is happening on the earth right now, the grand shift in consciousness, that there is an awakening of consciousness, and so there's an elevation of darkness as well. Like they have to coexist. Which is why a lot of people feel the world is getting more and more chaotic, is because there is so much light shining on that we are elevating and really revealing what was always there. So she showed me just what I like to call new earth, but you can call it whatever. It's not like the whole world is just going to, fall in love with one another and it's going to be peace, but it was showing me there's going to be a lot more laws governing this world, not like law of attraction, like more deeper laws around community and a higher power pushing people in certain directions, like you, like feeling guidance to just go certain places and having to surrender to that inner compass. So it was showing me all of this, and she was saying to me, you're going to have to make a video on this on YouTube. And she showed me the video, and I was so scared. I thought I'd quit YouTube, because I quit YouTube. I swore I wasn't going to go back because I just thought that path was finished. And she showed me this video, and so I did that video after leaving YouTube for 7 months, and now it has like 500,000 views. And she showed me that was what's going to happen, and then she was just going to guide me each video speaking about this. So she's really been my teacher for my whole path, the earth and ayahuasca and everything I do.
There's so much misunderstanding about the medicine.
Yeah.
And there's
Medicine.
the medicine,
Yeah.
yeah. I look at it as we're walking invitations to the actions we have took, and the path we have chosen, and the way we have created our lives. When we look at us, people are like, oh, drug addicts, your family's probably crazy, and they say it, and they, I think you mentioned in that video when you're talking about me, like they look at it as spiritual ego, right?
Yeah, hugely. Or privileged, white privilege, or
privilege, yeah.
Yeah, that's a huge one.
The identification is like, I am a soul that came into a body. Yes, I have a gender, but I first am a spirit beyond all. And then, of course, I'm in a body. But I didn't know how to control this, Right now, I'm just here as I am. And I can use my gifts because I have seen what they are. I've been shown them. And I'm like, hey,
What are they?
My most recent mushroom ceremony, I had this, it was just shaking me up. It was like, forget everything. Everything.
Yeah.
Just remember one thing. You're here to wake up. Your generation and older people, the ones that want to. And
feel
Instagram's
that.
your path right now.
I feel that for you. Yeah. Yeah, hugely. Yeah.
And I was like, that's it? I was like, are you sure? Like, yeah.
That's what you look up. Yeah. Yeah.
Beautiful.
I feel that. You have a very light energy. Yeah, it's very light. Yeah. You're definitely doing exactly what you're meant to do.
I actually want to touch with you on the path before this. We both had a big desire to be in the materialistic path, to pursue success, to pursue getting things outside of ourselves. In a way. What was the way you're operating then that you see was not really serving you, and how does this shift begin to happen?
Every experience brought me to here, so nothing was a waste or nothing was a regret or nothing was wrong. But I think during school, I started in high school, I was diagnosed with dyslexia and dyspraxia, and I failed everything. Like, everyone in school was able to memorize these words and these books, and I just felt so dumb. Like, I really felt like I was an idiot. And so I struggled in school, and I felt like I couldn't fit in. I just felt like an alien. And I remember every year during summer, I was crafting a personality of what can fit in, what can I be accepted by, because I felt so different. So one year I'd be the loud, crazy girl, one year too nice, like the people pleaser, because I just wanted to know how I could fit in, because I felt like an alien. And so one day I just got so fed up, and I was sitting in the back of math class. I was 17 years old, and I just was like, I cannot do this anymore. Like, nothing is going in. Firstly, I think this information is absolutely useless. Like, I felt that from the get-go. I was like, what is the point of all this information? It was in math class, so I just sat in the back, and I stood up, and I just never came back. I didn't tell any single person in the school that I left. I didn't say goodbye to anyone. because I didn't have many friends. I just left. I came home and I told my mom, and she was like, okay, if you do that, you're going to have to, get a job, do it all on your own. And my mom did the best thing that a mother could do. She didn't be strict with me. It was the opposite. She was like, okay, do what you need to do. So there was a lot of pressure. I was like,
on yourself then.
Yeah, because she wasn't
external,
like, you have to do this job and you have to work here. And she was like, your choice. Everything's your responsibility. So I was going out at like till the crack of dawn. She wouldn't ring me. She wouldn't, like, she knew what she was doing. It was great. So she very quickly pushed me into responsibility at a very young age. So I started working all these jobs, and I've been wanting to do YouTube since I was 12. Mm-hmm. So I started when I was 17, and I was like, that's kind of the reason I dropped out of school, is like, I want to be a YouTuber and I want to help people. I didn't know how.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I had been dropped out of school by probably 4 months, and I still wasn't doing YouTube. I was so paralyzed with fear. I was so insecure. And my brother handed me a book one day. He filled up I always remember, he filled up our living room with, I think, like 100 spiritual and self-development books. Wow. So, like an angel. And so he handed me one day this book and was like, read this. And I was leaving and I was getting on a train, and I was reading the book, and halfway through the train journey, I just got up and left and came right back home and started filming YouTube. It was a book about fear, and I never knew that my fear wasn't real. Like, this was like my mind was blown. I was like, oh my God, this fear isn't real. Like, this whole fear this paralysis I was creating wasn't real. So I went home and started doing YouTube, and committed to that. I was working many different jobs as a makeup artist for 2 years, but I just felt very lost. And so self-development was like my hook of feeling worthy. And so I defined everything by my actions. I was really set on, like, when I have this successful business and when I have this successful life and this successful body, I'm going to be so happy. So I moved to Canada by myself, and I worked in a gym, like working out 7 days a week, doing YouTube videos as a mindset coach, like a success coach. And I was like coaching people to be successful. And I did become very successful at a very young age. I had a 6-figure business I think when I was 21, I was making like 50 grand a month. I had achieved it all, and I was working out. I was living that like construct life that people told me was like, be the beautiful girl, be in this business, be happy. And inside I was so miserable. Wow. And it really scared me, Alex, because, that was the template of success and joy and happiness. People are on yachts and, models, like, you think that's it. So I got everything I wanted to realize it was the last thing on earth I wanted. It won't catch the audio. Okay, we had to move because of the rain. Oh yeah, one thing I want to say is I'm not demonizing money at all, but I've noticed the path purely just for money is deeply unfulfilling. Unfulfilling. So I had the call to work to Ireland, and I let go of everything. I let go of all my businesses. I, at the time, was wearing fake tan and hair extensions and eyelash extensions and makeup and like all these chemicals, and I just quit everything. I quit shoes, I quit everything. I was like, I need to...
Barefoot?
I was like, I need to strip myself raw, like I need to just rebirth. And that's exactly what happened. I just went through a rebirth and started studying and training with healers and shamans, and it's brought me all around the world to do this healing work. And it's what I do now, is to help people shift into power, into what empowers them in their life, and not just live by what society tells them is acceptable or what their family appreciates in them or loves in them. And I'm very much on a mission to step specifically light workers into their purpose. So that's why when I saw you, I was like, he's on the ball. Like, it lights something up in me for people to pursue what they want and to feed them with so much passion, because I'm an extremely passionate person and I love what I do, and that wasn't always the case. And I want people to experience that in every element of their world. It's not just work, but relationships, their lifestyle, where they live, all of that. So yes, that's a little bit about my story in a shortcut.
Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
I want to touch more on the school part you mentioned, and how much it conforms with how much it puts us in the matrix mindset of thinking that reality is some way. People listening to this, a lot of my people are my age, some are older.
Wow.
And they're like, you are on a completely different path. You're out of school, you're doing ayahuasca ceremonies. How is this even a reality,
So for school, for me, I feel the things we're being taught are deeply irrelevant, right? The things we firstly should be told about is how to breathe properly. So much of us are like breathing shallowly, anxious. Like, I look at, your generation, and I just see them on TikTok, and they're dissociated and they're wired and they're influenced by like such dogmatic industries, and they're sucking on these elf bars, and they're like so dissociated. And then they're in school and just learning stuff that's not enriching their quality of life, their experience. I don't feel it's giving children the tools. The one calling I've noticed with every client I have is they keep hearing it's about the children, and I feel the same. It's about the children, and it's about them, because they're going to be our new leaders. They're the new waves. So the more we can not harness, but hold the light of the children, the better. And to encourage them and influence them to be empowered in the world. Because, you know, when we're younger, everyone's like, you can do whatever you want. You can be whatever you want. Like when I was a child, I wanted to be a giraffe before I knew that wasn't possible. Then you get older and they're like, no, you have to do this or that. And it kind of crushes that dream. Or they say it's the real world. I hate that expression.
Oh, the real world.
The real world. I'm like, you can create your own one. I mean, if you think of the 4 elements, like if we were just taught like to connect to the earth, that nature is alive, that it can feed us, that it can heal us, that we don't need to take like a lot of medicine and drugs. Like the earth has healing modalities.
Oh, yeah.
Air, breathing can alter our vibration. It can cleanse our body, our emotions. Water, drinking clean water. Firstly.
You're so much water.
Yeah.
It's such a big part. The proper water, you know?
Yeah.
Hydrogenated water.
Yeah, yeah. And then fire, what you're passionate about, feeling your fire, your kundalini, feeling what you're passionate about, because then you can't be put in a box.
Oh, yeah.
You're literally anything but that box. So, yeah, I think that's the stuff they need to be taught.
Yeah. Talking about the box, so from my ayahuasca first experience of dying, I came back to this body, and the biggest realization I had was like, this is a box.
Yeah.
You know, the mind is the box, the body is the box. I'm like, I was everything, and now I'm put back into.
You're in this meat suit.
And it was just like, wow, this is such a tool to get out of this box, the plant medicine. It's the ability to see beyond this box, beyond your body, and then come back to this reality, integrate it back here with the practices of breath work and all
and
these
with the tools, and with the awareness.
Let's talk about New Earth.
Yeah.
You know, people at my age drink, smoke, do drugs, and when it comes to plant medicine, they do it wrong. Like in a way, like no ceremony, no blindfold.
It's a party.
No it's always a party. They think I do it the same way they did it when they were young, and that's why they actually stopped. It's because they had such a bad trip. They're seeing demons, they're drinking, and they're like, well, you're
surrounded by so many energies.
Yeah. So it's like hell. Of course you don't want to come back to that.
Yeah.
And it's like the New Earth children is when they give the gift to experience the sacred medicine in a very proper way that's really shifts them into this new state of consciousness very early.
Yeah. How I see it is that Mother Gaia, Mother Earth is alive. Like she is very conscious and she's speaking to us all the time. And so what she started to notice was, or can feel it, you know, even if you connect to the earth, I've done this in meditation, I connect to the heart of her, and she's so deeply saddened that she showed me this visual of people walking around on their phones, walking on the earth, not realizing she's alive.
Yeah.
Which also is a reflection of us being alive. We're not aware of our aliveness, so we're not aware of her aliveness. It's all a mirror. Our energy is what's creating this neglection of the earth. And so what I have heard is her energy went into a very dense realm. It went into third dimensional state, very physical. And it then moved back up to the fifth dimensional state. Fifth dimensional is synchronicity, it's intuition, it's living off an energy field rather than logical, which is the 4D, which is the mental, which is where the world is operating, super 4D. Right, we see on social media, it's purely 4D. The earth sent out a call and was like, I need energy, I need light energy to come in and help assist me with this shift that's going to occur on the earth. The soul is in a different dimension. It's not tied to time and space. Of course, our soul is in us, but what New Earth is it's literally our 5D selves embodying in this lifetime. So it's not us connecting up to our new higher self and being like, what should I do? We are a living and breathing embodiment of our higher self in the body. And so in order to do that, we have to descend and we have to purge and clear and connect to the earth and bring all this toxicity within ourselves and take full responsibility for our own energy systems to understand that we are a massive co-creator of this whole world. I was shown this on ayahuasca as like a woman. I used to be a makeup artist and I'd wake up every day and put so much makeup on and I'd act happy and I'd act like everything was fine. I'd put on this nice girl face and smile, and she was showing me that was a manifestation of what's happening on earth, is we are faking that everything's fine. Internally we're rotting. And we're putting these band-aids on to act like everything's fine. And that's what we're doing that's a manifestation of what's on earth. You know, the internal needs to express, it needs to roar, it needs to awaken. So New Earth is essentially an awakening of a whole new realm of consciousness, but nothing is going to be put under the surface. So it's not going to be like this pretty, like, it's a lot of darkness is coming up, but it's for a higher purpose. It's for a greater good. So yes, New Earth is very much a living and breathing consciousness. It's not like there's going to be a new globe. I think some people comment on my videos and they think that. They're like, a new globe is going to come. We're going to fly to the next one. I'm like, it's not how it works. It's literally about timelines, that we are literally living all in different realities on this physical plane. And it's going to be a completely different experience You know,
Wow,
it's like
okay.
one person could go to a concert and feel blissed out and in heaven, and the other person could be in hell. You know,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
it's an internal reality. It's an internal earth
Beautiful.
that we are going to birth into the new.
I want to get into timelines.
Timelines are essentially that understanding that if we were to erase our mind, erase our memories, and fully immerse in the present moment, that I am pure consciousness, I am pure energy right this moment, and directing and channeling that into this now moment can shift you into completely different timelines. It's like the butterfly effect. You know what I mean? It's like I always thought about this when I moved to Canada. I went on a date with this guy like a year before, and then when I moved to Canada, he saw and was like, oh, I can connect you with my friend, and then I met that friend, and then I got a job at a gym, and it brought me down this timeline. Whereas if I didn't go on that date that year ago, I wouldn't have, I could have gone a completely different timeline in Canada. So it's the understanding that your present moment decisions are altercating you constantly to new timelines, constantly shifting.
Wow.
So I'm a psychic, and I've been a psychic for years, and I do psychic readings literally every day. And what I've noticed is for people who aren't aware of their consciousness of their energy, there usually is only a few timelines. I can only see a few because their life's very just not like, there's not much like expansion or change or shifts. But what I've noticed for very cosmic or awakened people or people who are interested in their energy is there are millions, like at any moment they are shifting from one timeline to the other constantly. So it's really an understanding that your present energy can create anything.
Oh, wow.
And also I've noticed other people influence your timelines. So to be very conscious who you're spending your time with. Everything is a beautiful lesson, but I've noticed like when I hang out with certain friends, like I've brought down these timelines that are not of my reality. Like that would never happen if I was by myself. But I'm with these people and I experience it, and it's all beautiful and it teaches me so much, but it really shows me how we're all at such different frequencies. No one's better than other. We're all just at different energies. And it pulls us in different routes and in roots, and it's so cool. So it's just the understanding that when you choose to align with your highest timeline, you say, I align with my highest timeline, things will shift. Things will start to shake. And I always say that every day. I'm like, I align with my highest timeline. And highest doesn't mean it going perfect. It might mean actually everything falling apart for your highest good.
Yeah.
I'm sure you can experience that with what you did in work, and then it just dissolving, your ego disintegrating into a completely new form. It's like sometimes things falling apart is for our highest good, because then it alchemizes us into something new.
Oh, yeah. I see the highest timeline. It's like, it's like a race car, but it will always move forward. It's just where are we
Yeah.
in the path, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So for highest good, what does that mean? Like for people, it can be like, oh, highest good means I'll make $10 million. If I'm a multimillionaire, then that's my highest good.
Yeah.
But that can be actually a very low timeline as well.
Yeah, this is something, because I used to be a manifestation teacher, and I actually...
How to manifest 10K a month.
Yeah.
That's how I found him.
I used to be so rigid, like know what you want, know exactly what you want, visualize it. And what I feel with manifestation now is like cultivating a feeling and following that feeling, but not being so rigid on how it looks like, because I actually believe when we are so rigid on how things look, we're limiting ourselves so much. Like my life, the way it's unfolded, I could have never in a million years believed I deserved it or that it would even look like this. So I was actually like playing so small because I thought that was my potential. And then when I just let go and surrendered to everything and followed my inner compass of the now moment and my highest excitement now and my highest timeline now and what that felt like versus what it looks like, it brought me down the most beautiful route.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So
it's like letting go can get you even further
Yeah.
than holding, tomorrow I'm doing this is the plan.
Yeah, because like 3D manifestation is like picturing it and feeling, and that's beautiful. There's no right or wrong. I feel 5D intelligence is following an internal knowing when you have no idea what it's going to look like and trusting that it forms something even more beautiful. Because if we're like, okay, I want to make like the best YouTube video ever and I'm manifesting this, that's a lot of pressure when you're in that video. Whereas authentic energy could be like, I'm going to be my highest energy making this video, and it naturally manifests and forms into a beautiful video without the need to control it.
I was like so obsessed about the amount of angles I had. I was like, unless I have 3.5 angles, I will not start a podcast. It was just
Yeah.
like an inner thing.
Yeah, I was the same. I used to have all these high quality cameras, a ring light, and I was like, this ring light hurts my eyes so much. It doesn't
yeah.
feel organic. I sold my desk. I was like, I'm gonna start working on the floor. You know what I mean? Like it all like feels more better. It feels better. And that's the divine feminine as well. Is like instead of what it looks like, how does it feel? Like I'm laughing at this outfit. It's so comfy. I feel so free. but to another person will be like, that doesn't look right.
Yeah, she looks weird.
Yeah, exactly. I look crazy. So it's like we're moving out of like what things look like and tuning into how does it feel, because that's
the
soul.
energy.
Yeah, that's 5D.
Many people listening to this either had a spiritual awakening or will have a spiritual awakening or are looking for a spiritual awakening. I loved your video when you were talking about the spiritual matrix.
Yeah.
It's like we awaken spiritually, but then we do another matrix saying, oh, I must act beautiful now. I'm fully free and I am able to just, I'm God.
Yeah.
And then we're like, I can't be sad anymore. I can.
Yeah. Oh my God, hugely. The spiritual matrix, I find, for me anyway, it was like I created the most beautiful bubble for myself. So like my room was filled with crystals and angel figurines, and I was channeling and meditating, and like my life got so small because I was realizing the polarity of the world not mirroring that back and not matching that back.
Oh, yeah.
And I find that sometimes the spiritual matrix is going into the matrix and wanting to create a real shift, a real change in that world. Because I feel like a warrior sometimes. I'm like, yeah, like this is beautiful, this earth experience is so beautiful, but like I'm ready to fight, like I'm ready to like change this. Like that's why we're here. It's like to go into the darkness and bring it into the light, go into the shadow and bring it into the light. Oh, that I forget about this, but I was like, love and light, positivity. If not, I'm gonna manifest like this bad thing happening. And I was so paranoid all the time. I was like, oh, like timelines, like and now I'm just like so surrendered. I'm just like just trusting, you know what I mean?
Also, like when in my most recent mushroom experience, I was in such bliss. Everything was perfect. I am God. I'm Jesus. I'm heaven.
Yeah.
It's just divine. It's just perfect. And then I'm like, well, it's great here, but you can't manifest in this state where you're just like lying down, can't move, not physical. And I kind of got the realization of that the reason we come back to Earth, the reason we come back and live this physical experience in this third dimension is to be able to experience the destruction and also the creation and the yin and the yang and the light and the dark, to feel life. Because in that state, yes, you feel complete harmony and beauty, but there's no real kind of journey. And the journey is like a circle. It comes back to nothing. Like you came from nothing, you will come back to nothing.
Yeah.
But that journey there is to have this experience as a soul.
Yeah. And I feel it's through love. Like I always think like my soul has gone through so much pain because it loves me so much that it wants to alchemize and experience and die and rebirth. Like what a gift. And I feel like that is, I find such beauty in pain. I always have. Like if someone cries, I'm like, this is beautiful.
Keep crying.
Yeah, I always say that. I'm like, cry more.
Like loving the dark, loving the death even.
Yeah.
Such a big thing. Like I was so afraid of death before. I was like,
oh my God, I'm like, peace out. Yeah, bring me back.
You also had a shift around death, right?
Before, when I thought it was just the end, I was terrified, you know, but now that I don't, I'm like, you know, I love this human experience though. Like I'm enjoying every second of it. I'm like, you know, but when that time comes, I'll be like, yeah, beautiful. I'll do a whole ceremony around it. I'll go back to the light. And death also shows us that we're alive, you know, like death, the endings are beautiful because it shows us that we have to appreciate even more. Like can you imagine we came to Earth and we never died?
It's so terrible.
It would be awful. It'd be like hell. We'd feel stuck here. Like death is a beautiful thing. Yeah. For ages I wanted to work in a funeral home because I just love death.
Oh wow.
I'm not death in that way, but I just think that there's it's beautiful. Yeah, it's beautiful.
I want to ask you, I still have it alive inside of me, like when you're talking about the near Earth children, how much they are still in the matrix of the normal life. How can they understand the traps they're in and get out of them?
Newer children will have parents that encourage them, like your parents, you know, so that's like the next fallback, like plan B, because a lot of souls incarnated in difficult families and went through adversity and challenges, but then could go down a different route, which it's all perfect in a higher level. It's like there's no right or wrong, good or bad. It's just love. But
just love.
Yeah, in the higher level it is, yes, but it's really about people honoring who they are, because we're living in a world where it is literally copy and paste everywhere we look. Like people are copying one another and just like following these trends and what other people want. And if there was like one thing that you can do and help and assist for the younger generation is like, it's okay to be who you are. Because for me, I masked myself my whole life because I just felt so different and I felt so weird and I felt so like, I was so sensitive. And I didn't have that mirrored around me. So I tried so hard to fit in and be like everyone else for like 20 years, you know? So the more you can encourage people to honor their sensitivity, honor their light, honor who they are, encourage that is actually all that's needed. Because if we follow who we are, we're on the right path of where we're meant to go, and not what we're meant to be. It's not like you need to break out of the matrix or else you're not doing your light work. As long as you are who you are and you follow that, you will be guided on the path you're meant to go down. So you just by you being an embodiment and expression of who you are, who I am, is what we're meant to do. We're just meant to be ourselves. And I think they did a study that stated that authenticity vibrates higher than love.
Oof.
Yeah.
Authenticity is such a big thing right now in our day and age.
Mm-hmm.
When I used to hang out with my uncle a lot and aunt, it was, I wasn't myself.
Yeah.
Even if they hear this, I know I wasn't myself.
Yeah.
It's such a sad thing because I knew there's some reward and punishment associated with it. And there's some other matrix that was even in this little bubble. I always mourned my family for a very long time until I went spiritual. I was like, oh no, poor me, you know. My uncle is like super successful. He's like a multi-millionaire. And my dad's not a multi-millionaire like my uncle. And, you know, they always said, if you were our son, we would send you to school instantly. We'll show you how to be successful. You'll make your first million by 18.
You resented your parents then, did you?
And now it's just like, whoa, they gave me all the freedom. They gave me the light. They gave me everything.
Yeah.
Not saying my uncle was bad or anything. He's beautiful. He showed me such a unique lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
But I was not authentic. And it's really...
Yeah. I feel that.
down.
It's like
like a bird.
inner conflict.
Yes.
There's a part of you that's not aligned with your external, and you feel like you're in this push or pull.
Yeah.
Like I see it as like a tug of war, like being pulled in both
Until it got so
directions.
much.
Yeah.
And I did my first mushroom journey. I just left London in one day.
Mm-hmm.
I came. My aunt was like, do this. I'm like, no. Like, I know myself now. And it's like, do this. I didn't help her with anything.
Yeah.
And like, she's like, you just can't function here. Are you flying tomorrow or today? That was the question. I was like, this is great. You know, and I was actually excited for the first time to come back to my parents. I was actually, thank you for giving me this choice. Thank you for showing me that I need to break out of the shell of this fake success.
The word that keeps coming to mind is a revolutionary act to do that. To go against everything that you were told was the epitome of greatness. Because you can't lie to yourself with what's internal. If it doesn't feel right, you have to trust that.
What's the first step for people?
For manifesting change?
For manifesting change, manifesting that
Oh,
new
I
reality.
love this. The literal word that comes to my head is you have to surrender. And that people don't want that. Because if you surrender...
They want to control.
Yeah, but also they don't want to face the truth of what actually they're doing isn't serving them any longer. In that sense, it's like if you surrender, you're going to have to face the parts of you that don't want to be seen, that don't want to make a stand, that want to go against their family. Maybe no one's going to agree with them, no one's going to be on their side. All these feelings that are so uncomfortable. When you surrender to, I call it a higher power, God, source, it's just constantly what I go back to, surrender. Because we think we know best in our mind. But when we surrender and let go, because I'm just being shown I'm just imagining like a girl in her apartment and she's in a job and she has a cat and she's, you know, tied in this world and she's not enjoying it anymore.
She's
and
tied.
She's tied because she has a rent in a lease in this
Exactly.
apartment and then a corporate job that she's contracted. It's like she feels stuck. The only word that comes to mind is surrender. Because if you try and plan the whole thing, like it's not going to work that way. That's how your higher self operates, is in presence. It will guide you one step at a time. And you just have to follow that. And trust that you're on the right path. So there's no like plan like I'm going to guarantee you this is going to be perfect and safe, because you're going to be put into unsafe situations. You're going to be put into faith. You're going to be put into trust. You know what I mean? Rather than cushioned.
Oh yeah.
So it's surrendering and then finding a practice where you can connect to your inner voice. I see it as like a candle flame. It's like we have so much no space for this flame to grow, and it's like in us, and the more we give breath and air to it, the louder and lighter and brighter it comes. Like you're probably like, I can't even go against it now. Like it's not even a question. So to manifesting whatever it is they want or change, it's surrender. And how to surrender, it's letting go of everything you think you know, everything you think is best for you.
What you need to do.
Yeah. And fully tuning into your body through breath and just connecting to that inner voice, and you'll hear a click and you're like, this is what I need to do. Even though it makes no rational sense. And people will think you're crazy.
I
and
think
people
you need to stop
like,
doing.
Yeah. Huh?
You're like, oh, okay, let me just finish this task and then I can finally
Yeah.
connect with my higher self and be guided. But
Yeah.
I still need to operate this because that's very important.
Yeah.
And until this all just disappears, I'm like, I don't need anything external right now.
Yeah.
And because it's inside, the keys are like
Exactly.
lying
And it
inside.
makes no logical sense. The ego is going to fight back and be like, what the fuck? And you just have to surrender that too.
if you can bring something to someone's mind, just a very important thing that has been like a gem for you, that served you so much, and it's like, oh man, if everybody just found this one thing, life would be so much more beautiful.
It has literally been giving up everything I thought I wanted, everything I thought I knew, everything I thought I had to be, who I had to be, and trusted that this higher intelligence actually knows what's best for me. And I remember one day, I've done this so many times, I sit down and I say, I hand everything over to you. Like, I let you take control of everything. I let you fuck up my life. I allow you to do everything. It's not my responsibility anymore. And do you know how much actually, it sounds terrifying, and then you actually tune in and you go, so much peace, because there's no more pressure on yourself. And I see the higher power as this orange light. And that was the one thing during ayahuasca this whole time. I was looking up at the sky, and the shaman was like, are you okay? I was like, we have no control. I was like, there is a power orchestrating this whole thing, but that's in us. So it's not like the demonic, like Christian, like you have to do this or else you'll sin. It's not like that power. It's like an intelligence greater than ourselves that we can't conceptually understand, trusting that guidance and trusting that the entire time. But like tools, I mean, there's a million things I could say. I think community is a big thing. I wish I could say, oh, meditation practice. I'm like, no, it's people. You need to find your people. You need to find your people.
By aligning yourself to a vibration where these people
you can
meet them. I would never, a year ago, I would not meet you.
Yeah, exactly.
I would not be able to sit with you this comfortably.
Yeah.
Because I would say, oh, she has more subscribers than me.
Yeah.
Or no, she's older than me, so she lives in Bali. No, she's cool. You know, I started getting insane amount of followers. I started traveling in Bali as well.
Yeah.
And it's like I aligned to myself to a high timeline and a frequency that was able to easily meet you.
Yeah.
And it felt supernatural.
Yeah. And also all those stories were the mind. It's not true.
Of course.
You know what I mean? It's if an intelligence wants people to meet and come together, it will. And I feel like community is a huge thing that people are missing. We're in the loneliest generation we've ever been. Like people are isolated.
Virtual community is not a community.
Yeah. And so what I feel is the more I stepped into my truth, people just started flooding into my life. Like I had to go out and meet them though. But I remember the first time I met my best friend, Kira. I met her and she made me feel not crazy. And I felt so seen and met. And just the recognition, like connection is my most important trait. Biggest value in life is connecting with people. And when you feel connected to somebody, that gives you more empowerment than doing anything alone.
Oh, yeah.
So if your circle isn't in alignment, if you feel it's falling apart, if you feel like they're not resonant anymore, like it's okay to let that go.
I remember one time I looked in the mirror and I look at myself, I'm like, before I was obsessed with like the super high success people, like they're very, very rich. I was like, I need to get to myself where I can look at myself and can say, that's a friend of Kim Kardashian.
Really?
I was like,
wow.
Does my body physically look like I'm friends with Kim Kardashian? Does my voice and my like whole being look like I'm friends with her? And I'm like, I need to find a way to get to this state.
Yeah.
I never heard that before. And it was like, your thoughts create your emotions, right? Emotions drive actions, actions drive your reality. So it's like, I needed to shift these thoughts and this kind of intention into becoming someone that can meet people that are also becoming themselves too.
I also want to say about newer children is, did you ever feel like you want to be famous when you were younger?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I've noticed that with like people who have a mission or feel that is like they come into this earth with like I've always felt in my whole life a bit of pressure. Like I don't know why, like since the minute I was born I was like there's pressure for me to be here.
There's a huge goal for me, I know.
Yeah, because you're here for a purpose and a mission. So this energy, this fire is in you. And that's why like the most logical thing is like let me be as big as this because that's what I'm meant to do. I'm here for a big mission. So I've noticed that with people, it's like they come in, they're like, I don't know what it is, but I have to do something. It's because it's in you, it's innate in you, and that's the fire in you. You're here to expand, you're here to grow, you're here to be seen. It's the only way we can understand at the time.
Yesterday I was at a fire ceremony and there's this facilitator, let's just say that, around the fire. And he says, if you charge for your services, you are not spiritual. And I was like, Ella, where are you? Ella, come, tell this guy.
Wow. This is I think Carrie Kay made a great video about this, and it's like the spiritual martyrdom. It's like the enslavement, because it's in our DNA. It's like as healers, as you know, if you like, it's like if a plumber comes to us, we're like, I'm not paying you. Like this is my birthright to have my toilet click. You know what I mean? It's the same with spiritual. So it's like it's ingrained within to give, give, give. But the new paradigm is like if you are over, like, firstly, you can't serve many people if you're not making money. You just can't, because you won't be able to survive in a world that requires financial means right now.
It's the way it functions, fuel.
Literally. So I actually believe it's a birthright for spiritual people. I'm not saying like if you're not rich, you're not spiritual. But I feel like it is literally a birthright. It is our birthright, because if you just extract money, okay, and you just really step back, what is money? It's an energy exchange. Unfortunately, it has to be that way. It used to be like, I'll give you a goat and you give me like...
Blueberries.
Yeah, blueberries. There you go. So now it's like, how much do I value my energy? And also spiritual people aren't paying for their time. They're paying from their whole experience of life and every single adversity they've gone through, every challenge they've gone to. They're not paying for a 1 hour session. They're paying for their like life experience. But what I feel is I'm giving you energy for an energy exchange. So when you remove the financial means and the money, and you start to realize the worth that you hold, it is your birthright to charge. And I feel like this paradigm of like, you're only spiritual if you suffer, because that's the underlying energy. If you don't serve, if you don't charge money, you're suffering. You have to suffer. You have to overgive. You have to empty yourself. You have to be like this, like Mother Teresa, angelic saint. And what I'm noticing with the new energy that's wanting to emerge, spirituality, is it's not this suffering. Like, because I wanted to be a nun for a while. Like I was just like, that just seems so peaceful. And what I did from hundreds of psychic readings connecting to women that also have this energy is, we're not here to continue this paradigm of what spirituality looks like. It's about rebirthing the new, and the rebirthing of the new is of joyous expansion, of color, of brightness, of lightness. And if you're starving in poverty and suffering, it's not the right reflection. Because if your internal world is that you've found God or you've found source and you're fully fueled on earth and aliveness, that is the wealthiest frequency you can feel. So it has to match externally. You know what I mean? Why wouldn't it want to mirror externally? And abundance is our birthright. If we look at Earth, it's nothing but abundance. It's nothing but grows. And abundance comes in so many forms.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like community and friendship. It's not just like material money. It's like what you do with it. Like I love spending, and I love circulating money, and I love giving money, and I love giving tips, and I love paying for people. And like I like that, because I feel I'm circulating it. I'm not just like clinging onto it out of fear. I'm like allowing myself to really use it in a conscious way.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
All my friends are like this now. The ones that follow me, and the ones that are like, they want to take my path as well.
Yeah.
They're like, I want to make... Alex, I love your path. I want to take it. But let me just make my first $2.4 million with the business I'm doing now, and then I'll join you. Because I don't want to mix spiritual... I don't think I can ever make spirituality with money.
But that's the thing, is they separate them. Yeah, the new paradigm is they're the same. You know what I mean? Like expanding in a business, or expanding and growing, or stretching your limits, your capacity, that is spiritual. Everything is spiritual, because everything is consciousness. Everything is a spirit running through it. So it's like, it's reframing. Again, that's the old paradigm. Spirituality means I have to go up into the Himalayas mountains and meditate till I die and serve in poverty. And I've also noticed this with light workers, is because in some past life we did vows of celibacy, we did vows of oath, we did vows of poverty as monks, as healers, because we were like, I'm going to give my whole life to God. You know, but now in this day in society, that's not sustainable. We're not living in that time. We're in this new time. We have to move with the times, and that's what it's birthing new.
So you can make a business around spirituality.
It doesn't even have to be around spirituality.
I mean, around what your purpose. If you're like, okay, my purpose is healing, but let me just do this smoking product business just so I generate cash to fuel this business that doesn't make money.
Here's the thing with that. I feel sometimes a lot of people have to go through that. Like, I wouldn't be who I am today without going through this, like, unfulfilled path of doing what I thought I wanted. You know what I mean? Because when someone gets to that goal that they wanted and they realize, wait, this isn't it, that's their greatest teacher. You know what I mean? It's
slap in the face teacher.
Completely. It's like, well, that's, whenever I share my story, I feel like insecure about it, because I'm like, people are like, well, easy for you to say when you have all this. And I'm like, okay, well, then when you experience it, then you'll know. And I have so much compassion because I understand it. And I was like that too. So it's like, sometimes that is the greatest teacher they need to go through, because there's no right or wrong. It's just, it's propelling them on their path. So it's, you know, you can reroute them, but at the end of the day, we're our own responsibility. And we can only be responsible for ourselves and reflect that. Like, we're not in a guru age where like, you're like, listen to me, like, let me lead you and be your God. We're becoming leaders within ourselves and sovereignty. That's New Earth. It's leading within. And we are reflections for one another. So if that's their decision, that's their decision. And sometimes that can be what they actually need to experience.
But to the ones that are conscious, though, creating their businesses around healing, if they feel called to, many people are like, oh my God, I just want to pursue this path now. But there's no money in it because I can't charge for it, you know?
That's not true. Yeah, I don't think that's true. I think, again, it's ingrained, these old paradigms of suffering, of not charging, of not serving. Like, that was the old way in psychics only 100 years ago. If you were psychic, you didn't have a price. People would give donation. It would be based on bit donation.
How about donations? Where's that go?
What do you mean?
Is that also suffering?
I mean,
That actually guy said only donations.
well, the point is, like, if you pour your heart out into a reading, you give so much energy and they give you €1, like, that's fine. It's their decision, but it's not going to support us in the systems now, the way they're set up. Of course, systems are changing, and that's what's happening, but it's
In this current system, that's not just functional.
yeah, and I also kind of see it as you're doing it a service if you charge little, because you can't serve a lot of people. I wouldn't be able to make free YouTube videos all the time and, like, give so much if I wasn't making money. You know what I mean? Like, in my services, because I wouldn't be able to serve so many people. I'd be doing it a service by not charging. I'd be doing it a service by not earning money, because I wouldn't be able to serve or help.
Oh yeah, they're like, oh, that's cruel if you charge 5K for ayahuasca and you make a 10-day retreat around it and connect all these other services together and make this whole package. That's not spiritual.
But this is what people are still tied to, is the physical money, whereas what is the energy offering us? What's this exchange? That's going to change your whole life. They're still tied to because it's fear. It's so dense. It's so tied to the 3D that it's like, well, what's that offering you? That's going to change your whole life. You know what I mean? So it's an energetic exchange we're working with now, and that's what people are starting to wake up to. A lot of money, I feel, is made, I call it like dirty money, like unconscious money. It's not from love. It's not from... So if you can infuse your energy into creation, it's going to fulfill you so much. It's going to keep you in the long run, the long-term game as well. We had something to say there, though. But money does, at the moment, it's what creates that equilibrium. Because if there was no money, there would be no services. There would be no builders. There would be no anything. There's a very strong purpose to money.
Even in my circle, before I stepped into this path, many people stayed with me, many left. The successful teenagers circle, the ones that have companies that are generating like 20 million a year.
Wow.
15-year-olds.
Wow.
So many of these friends that I have are just strictly pursuing money, because people like Iman, people like Grant Cardone only strictly say that escape the matrix is making 10K a month. Escaping the matrix is making money. You know?
Yeah, and I was around that world as well. Like, all the guys I would speak to and friends, my brother was in that industry. Like, I've seen it, and what I've noticed with them is they're deeply serious, because they're deeply tense, and there's this wanting to prove, and it's beautiful. But I find that I've noticed everyone moves into this path from that. It's like the gateway, bridge,
Unless
portal.
they die.
Huh?
Unless they die, they move in.
Yeah, exactly. Wait, say that again?
Unless they die, they move in.
But I've noticed that's the path.
Yeah.
Because these people who strive for success and motivation, of course, they're wanting to change their experience, but there's also this part of wanting to prove ourselves. And then why do we not feel enough in the first place? And then that moves down this whole other path of how can I feel more fulfilled, rather than this like fake goal of like proving myself to the world when no one's actually watching.
Is there anything else you'd like to add, something that's alive in you that we haven't covered deep enough yet?
Everyone that comes into our path is a teacher of some form, and it's reflecting a part of ourselves. We're all part of the one. So the more we can stop thinking of the future, like when I'm here and I'm there. Like, I remember when I was younger, I was like, when I lived in Bali and I have this life, and now I'm here, I'm like, oh. Like, you know, it's like...
That next place.
Yeah, enjoy the journey. Enjoy every moment, every second, every present moment. Like, because every moment is just a collective of now moments. It's like, if we're rushing to a destination, it's defeating the whole purpose. So I feel like for people, it's really understanding like where you are right now is so freaking beautiful and perfect and stunning, because you're not meant to be anywhere else but where you are now. There's a reason you're here now. And so enjoy it, and know that your past doesn't define you as well. If you just cleared your minds clear and you just started working from this now energy, that's where real change can take place.
Oh, yeah.
This is why I'm against kind of like talk therapy. I mean, there's a time and a place for everything. I think it's beautiful. But what I was shown from my guides is that is a lot of re-traumatizing, reliving, and then you're in the head more. And what humanity wants is us to get in the body now. Oh.
Oh.
Beautiful.
Stay conscious.